Welcome to Commodity Analysis on Wednesday, the 24th of April 2013, and this is our free pre-market emini S&P appraisal reaction line analysis. We've got durable goods figures coming out in just over an hour. So let's get on with it. It's a very important day. Yesterday was a great day. I was worried about this fork, and I'm going to show you this in e-signal to start with. And I really thought we were just going to fall off the cliff here at one point. But this last pivot we made here, higher, low, and up we went as we did discuss yesterday in the group and also in our various blogs and free material. This is obviously the next fork, and if we're going to take out this previous high here, this is the fork we need to now look at and see how that's going to interact with price. We'll just change that to another color, blue. There we go. Spot on. Okay, so that's where we're heading. There is another problem though, and let's drop down out of the 60-minute chart on e-signal. Let's drop down to this chart, which is done on MetaTrader 4. And here's a slightly more complicated. There's still only just over half a dozen, 8 forks or something in total, with their reaction lines. They're all inserted onto the chart in a relatively high time frame, and they're all using the MT4 free custom indicator, which is available free to anyone from various sources on the internet, or just email me and I'll send you the file as a custom indicator which you can download. Here we go. Remember, we were talking about this. Let's just zoom out slightly. There we are. This big black fork that we played around with, had some great trades off it. One there, another one here. We've fallen out, but it's still important because it was this fork, the reaction line here, from fork number 1 that you can see. Excuse me. This fork here, and there's a reaction line that dragged us lower. You can see it there, fork. If I hover over that, reaction line number 1 from fork number 1, there we go. Now we've got this downsloping fork that's drawn my attention. I'll tell you why. There's 2 pivots there. Let's have a look at this. This one and this one. Now this is the preceding high, and I'm using that, but I'm going to show you also the effect of this one, this smaller one here, which I've drawn. Here are the reaction lines from these 2 forks appearing as a band, number 6 and this one here, big. So let's go back, big, number 6, and you can see, and this is not abnormal behavior for reaction lines, this ascending pattern on the back side, on what you would think is the wrong side of the reaction line, price is being dragged higher. Here we are. There we are on the 15-minute, and you can see there is definitely a correlation in price. And what I often do when I have this sort of behavior is I double click on this and then try and find the frequency. That works pretty well, something like that, and that's what I call a mirror line. And you can use these, and then you've got a channel, an ascending channel. Then we've also got this line, which is from, that one was from this pivot here. This, which I've labelled for you guys big, is given us this reaction line here. And if I hover, there you go, big reaction line. And you can see yesterday a dip through just before we started to move higher, and that incredible sell-off on that ridiculous rumour that popped down and found support in this area here. Now I've drawn a couple of downsloping forks, which I always do, regardless of whether I think price is going to get here. I personally am looking for this area here. I think we could go higher today, and I'll tell you why. Price, let's go down to a nice small low time frame. Let's just tighten that up slightly. Let's get rid of that, which is again another mirror line. Let's draw a fork in here, a mini fork in the 5-minute. 1, 2, 3. Moving very slowly sideways with a lot of support. And excuse me, and here you can see there's very little momentum on the downside. And if we make this fork slightly, there we go, that is its destination. This here is the big reaction line that we want to watch very closely. Overlay with a manual trend line, and then we pop up and suddenly see in this time frame it's not located in the same place. Let's do this again. Let's go to the 30-minute. And this is why it's so difficult. And I keep reminding everyone, you need to know where your lines are. I know it sounds strange, but it's part of the anomaly of using charting platforms that this data is converted into what we call candles. Here we are. This is the down sloping reaction line from this orange fork, number 3, and that saw us the touch on the center line, and then we saw this huge movement down on the rumour, a touch on this line and a bounce up. Now, I also want to mention this because it is something I've observed many times, and this is my personal opinion, that for whatever reason, whether it's fundamental news, rumour, fat finger, algo problems, whatever it is, if you see a candle like that, to me, it portends a move lower. Now, I'm not saying immediately this pattern will play out, but once you get a spike down like that, I've seen it in the Japanese yen over many years, I've seen it in many currencies. If you go back and have a look at the charts, you'll see after a huge move like this, despite the 100% retracement and now having made a higher high, this spells a problem. So what I'm suggesting to you guys is that we may indeed come up to this area here, 1580, 1581. Whether we make a higher high, I don't know. We're aiming for this blue line, if you remember, and let's go back to E-signal. We're aiming for this line here. Okay, that is your ultimate. That is our target. That one. We have these two downsloping reaction lines. Let's get rid of this. I think price will definitely have a pop-up here today. Whether there's a lot of sellers waiting at 1585, 1584, in the mid 1580s, or whether we'll have the impetus to carry us through higher and make a higher high. I personally think, and again, if you've watched some of the previous videos, we have, if you look at the monthly chart, a major pivot forming here. Even if we break out higher, this is an area of consolidation. I think we're going to see more of this sort of thing here. I think we could see another equally sharp drop and a lot of volatile price action. So be prepared. But at the moment, the trend is intact, and we'll wait and see what happens after durable goods.